He's not that concerned, and he's just eating some grass heads there at the moment. Now those are exotic grass heads, but if he was in his wild situation in the Murchison Mountains, they would be the hard tussock grass heads that he'd be feeding on. So he's related to our other native bird, the swamp hen, the pukeko, and much heavier and more thickly set than the pukeko. So the reason that he's responding is he thinks there's a bird in his territory, and they are a bird that maintain a fairly constant territory right the way around the year. So the thing I have to be careful, of course, he's close enough, slow enough, you'll see that there's bands on him. Yeah. So he's one of our honeyeaters, one of our songbirds. So the tui is the largest one, the one with the white fluff under the throat. And the bellbird's the number 2 in the back order, and the third one that we have here is Tuti, which now sometimes when we're working in the bush, these guys will come and just land on your boots. They are that tame. And you can see that that's cat fodder on the other side of the fence. That little bird is not going to survive 2 seconds. Located from an offshore island just north of Wellington called Kapiti Island. They're not very rare. They're still quite common in certain bits of forest, but only forest that is pest controlled. No, they're very little difference. The male is slightly darker than the female, but just grey and white is their basic thing. Insect eaters, and very kind of loud. So you can see the way that they operate the treadle there. They're the only birds that are heavy enough to open the feeders. And when we got the first captive reared birds, they were all from zoo situations. We held them in an aviary in the bush for a couple of months here and introduced this way of feeding to them, and they just learned that. And since then we've banded over 300 kaka, and they teach each other how to operate it. In fact, it's one of the ways that we can tell when a bird comes from outside of our population. So these birds have very big ranges. They can fly for 100k quite easily, and it means that sometimes we get birds that come from Kaka. They have that almond that I left from as plain old biscuits. What's operating in the monitor the population? The population is building and building, so pretty soon at that point where we can take our hands off it and say, actually it's doing okay without us having to monitor it so intensely. We don't have to band in all the birds all the time, and as long as they're still breathing in here where it's safe, the population will be assured. They have a cohort band this season. The cohort band is the one individual ID. So this bird here is a blue banded bird. Several seasons ago, the one above him was a lion. More recently.
Have you seen the baby ducks? Go over to Mummy, she'll show you another duck.
So to give an example just of how far their range is, several seasons ago we had a chicken.
There you go, so that's what it looks like.
Yeah, it's just plum.
Yep.
Is it right? Good.
What was it?
Looks like it might have been a robin.
See, I should have stayed there.
You can see it, yeah, see
That's
it.
it.
Well, we talked about the birds, and then the duck came out with the babies.
Very, very convenient of it just to be on a branch right above the sign.
So someone just spotted a green
That's right.
We just saw the kaka feeding, and we also saw this little parrot called kakariki, which in Maori also means green. Surprisingly, it's green. What else? We got to see
Robins?
we got to see robins, which if you make a little patch on the ground, they'll come and feed. And there's lots of tuis. And we got to see takahe, which are like a really fat pukeko. But you won't know what pukeko is.
Oh, we're being summoned.